it makes us look like we know what we're doing, or it makes us really look like we don't know what we're doing.
Well,
no, we know what we're doing.
I mean, we know enough that we know that something is wrong. We don't know how to fix it, but we know how to fix it on the back end or the front end.
Fix it on the back end. Heyo.
We know how to fix it in post.
Welcome to Namely 90s. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there is Brandon.
That's me. Ow, my elbow.
Are you a cat? You just said meow.
Meow.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with the 90s. You can also find the show on YouTube at youtube.com/@namely90s. And if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/namely90s, also with the 90s, and get signed up for one of our support levels. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Well, no, I went to dodgeball tonight, and I got home. I'm like, I should ice my right elbow because I could feel it. I felt it click, and yeah. But now that I'm sitting down, it's my left elbow. That's like if I raise it above my shoulder, kind of hurts.
Earlier, I was just like doom scrolling through videos on Facebook, which are mostly just from YouTubers who were famous like 10 years ago. And when I went to move my elbow, it popped really loud.
Yeah.
I got a case of tennis elbow from my phone.
Oh, yeah. I've been putting in way too much time on the new Pokemon game on my on handheld mode on my Switch, which I don't know why, because I have this giant monitor here I can play it on.
Oh, did you see what we were doing the other night?
I saw it, yeah, yesterday.
The little beads that you arrange and you melt them together and they like, I don't know what they're called.
I don't know what they're called either.
But we got the miniature ones and they're like tiny. No, it's like they're little plastic cylinders with a hole in the middle, and you arrange them on like a little thing with pegs in like a design. And then when you want to melt them together, you put an iron over the top and it like, what are those called? I don't know.
I don't know what they're called. I don't think I ever knew what they're called, but I know what you're talking about.
Like the micro version of that by mistake. And so we had these like tiny tweezers, but we were making little Pokemon figures and watching Pokemon Indigo League while doing it.
Nice. They turned out really well. The Bulbasaur was, I think it's the one I saw completed. It looked great.
Interesting thing.
Yes.
The first, like, I don't know about music. The first like one or two bars of the Pokemon Indigo League theme song sounds exactly like the outro music that plays at the end of Cobra Kai. It's very weird. Yeah,
well, it is very like 80s rock.
Yeah, like it's like identical. And then
you're right. It is.
It's pretty much identical. But then the Pokemon rap at the end, I'm like, this is like
catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all.
80s white people rapping. Oh Pokemon. Gosh, it's so bad. But Pikachu, so good.
Arbok,
so good.
Yeah. That's also drilled into my brain. I could probably pull a Poke rap out of nowhere.
It's drilled into your brain.
Impressive. Most impressive.
I just thought it was funny because his little caterpillar one evolves into a Metapod. And then there was like some joke on the internet about using Harden and how like it was like an ED joke. Like he used Harden. It was not effective or something.
Right. Should we just do a deep dive on the Pokemon Indigo League in the new year? Like, because we're this is the last 3 episodes of our current format of Namely 90s. And we haven't decided what the next season, we don't know what the January 2nd episode is going to be like.
Not yet, but we will soon. Yeah. Oh, it's like 2 Metapods. One is still in the bed and one's sitting at the end with a tear in his eye that says, Metapod used Harden, but it fails.
It's pretty good. To be fair, I learned a little bit about the new Pokemon game. Kind of teaches you how all those stat boosts are calculated, and there is a ceiling to how many times you can use Harden and increase your stats, which is 4 times, and it increases 50-fold, I think, or 50%. So you can have a 200% boost every. Anyway,
brought back all the feels, but then my left, like my finger and thumb, my tweezing fingers were very sore at the end of that.
So we both have sore hands from Pokemon.
But I made it pretty convincing Pikachu. Also, what's cuter than fat original Pikachu?
Right. Spoilers, we are doing a Pokemon for one of the 12 Days of Christmas specials, our 3rd annual, which is coming up on December
23rd?
1st. It starts on the 21st. You were literally just commenting.
No, I meant the Pokemon episode.
The Pokemon episode is, you're right, it is either the 23rd or the 24th. It's the 24th.
The band episode. So that's a fun banter item.
The band episodes. Oh, yeah, it is a band episode.
Of Pokemon. Yeah. Not of Namely 90s.
I was like, they're rocking.
The Republicans haven't gotten to us yet.
No, I thought you meant BAND. Like, there's a band coming.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't aware of this. What band is coming to the show? But yeah, get ready for that. You remember, listeners out there, that's kind of the thing we do to give back to you and to give back to our little indie podcasting community, make new friends, bring old friends on. It's awesome. And if you are listening and are a friend of the show and didn't make it into the 12 episodes we did this December,
I'm sure guests will be some part of our new format, right?
Exactly. I was going to say, we've been talking about having guests on more often throughout the year. So we will definitely be hitting you up because we need friends and you are our friends. Yeah. But yeah, look forward to that. We always appreciate you giving that a download and supporting our podcast friends that come on and take the time to chat with us about terrible 90s holiday episodes of television.
Yeah. None of them are good. Really. I mean, not great.
You know, so far, like, we're 6 in the can, and
the problem is, like, even the holiday episodes of good shows are still not great. They're just not a good example of the show.
A good handful of, we have had people say over the last 3 years of doing this, this isn't the best example of this show that I love.
Exactly. Because they kind of have to move away from the core concepts to cram in a Christmas episode.
Gotta break the mold.
There was a Power Rangers episode where they didn't even morph.
Which I was told might not be the only episode that they've never, in the 25-year run, might not be the only episode they never morphed in. But yeah, they didn't really even fight in that episode.
It's morphin' time.
No, they're just going to steal the piñata and throw it out.
I hate your ethnic Christmas. That was basically what
didn't Rocky like grab the menorah and like throw it away? Oh yeah. Speaking of which, Andrew doesn't know this, but the original Green Ranger, Tommy, passed away. It was over the weekend, last weekend, I think it was, or listeners, 2 weekends ago now. Jason David Frank, he came back a few times. He did some guest appearances. He even had like another season that he came back on early on. So just rip to the max, JDF. Rest in peace, Green Ranger, White Ranger, Black Ranger, Red Ranger, other Red Ranger. He did it. He did it all. Yeah, just rip to the max because, well, yeah, and you know, if you're if you need to talk to someone, the new U.S. domestic suicide hotline is 988, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Talk to anyone, no questions asked, etc.
I think that's what.
Yeah, it's anonymous.
Oh yes, exactly. Yes.
So yeah, that's what I mean by no questions asked. I mean, they'll probably ask some questions like,
"Are you
tell me
okay?
about what's going on?" Yeah, okay, fair. I meant like anonymous. Okay,
fair enough. All right, should we get into it? Yeah. We love you out there. It's the holidays.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be rough.
I didn't start my timer.
It's okay. This is gonna be rough.
Is it?
It's an early 90s episode.
There's actually some stuff on here.
All right.
I've seen. All
right. Well, let's get into it. So why don't you tell us what was going on in December of 1990?
Travel back with me, listeners, if you will, to December of 1990. On the 1st, the British and French workers meet in the middle of the Channel Tunnel under the English Channel in the Channel.
Yeah, I hate the word channel. Despise it.
Chunnelingus.
Yeah, it's like when they try to talk to each other inside the tunnel.
Yes.
Chunnelingus. Yeah.
Exactly. On the 2nd, the first time on the 2nd, for the first time, there are 12 people in space simultaneously. For those of you that don't know, the ISS hasn't always been there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Before it's just like a monkey on a bottle rocket, wasn't it?
I believe the first living creature in space was a Soviet dog, and that's not a slight at the Russians. Look it up.
Was the dog named like Sputnik or something?
Her name was
a Russian Spitz. Isn't that what I think? It's a Spitz.
Yeah,
Russian.
It brown. It's a brown dog.
Yeah, Russian Spitz is a dog. Well, the dog is pretty cute, actually.
I don't remember the name. It's like Sophie. No. Anyway, they based a Marvel character, Cosmo, after it. On the 3rd, did I say a Russian character? A Marvel character. On the 3rd, ABC gets a lot.
That reminds me. I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw this like clickbait article, and they accidentally said MUC instead of MCU, and I was like, "Wow, this is going to be a really authoritative article."
It's the muck.
About the muck. It's like the muck and the dick, right?
Or the muck bang. That's where
the muck and the dick you.
What? Oh, the DC guy, yes. Right. That's awesome. Slap that on a shirt. On the 3rd, ABC gets a lot of letters written to them about airing Madonna's music video for Justify My Love, which features the singer simulating sex wearing full lingerie and also some androgynous themes to it. And they air it on Nightline. Jesus, Brandon. The music video ends up getting banned from MTV and other networks worldwide. I actually watched this. I
think this kind of stuff is what that character in The Simpsons is based on. The one that's like, someone think of the children. Who will think of the children?
Reverend Lovejoy's wife.
Yeah, it's always like I think it's kind of a commentary on this kind of like letter writing crap that used to happen. Yeah.
Well, that and I thought you were going for Murphy Brown. You know, she had a child by herself on the show Murphy Brown.
Well, we can't be having that.
Yeah. On the 7th, Ted Turner and Jane Fonda get engaged. It's Tedulous Turner of Turner Classic Movies, and I believe he owns something called the Turner Broadcasting something. TBS.
TBS. The place you go to watch The Big Bang Theory again.
Yes. Who were nice enough to give Conan a show for...
Yeah.
Yeah, after NBC robbed him. On the 15th, Rachel Brosnahan is born from the marvelous Miss Maisel.
Is she related to Pierce Brosnahan?
Yes.
Pierce Brosnahan.
Daughter of Pierce Brosnahan. On the 20th, the world's first website and server go live at CERN in Australia. Austria.
Yeah. No, Australia, mate.
Yeah, I actually did that in this high school.
A kangaroo gets loose inside of it. It's bouncing around.
I think it was my junior year, and I was taking physics.
Something about packets? No, that's not a good joke.
And I had to do a report on CERN, and I was like, or the Large Hadron Collider, and it was like, it's located at CERN, Australia.
Yeah, it can be hard to discern between those two countries.
You're full of beans tonight. On the 20th, also on the 20th, JoJo is born. Do you know who JoJo is?
As in, is that JoJo Siwa, the girl with like the purple hair or the rainbow hair?
No, JoJo Siwa, I think, is under 20.
Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah, I guess I forgot about that. You're right.
This is JoJo of Casey and JoJo fame. They had a song. They had a song.
Casey and JoJo.
That's yes. That's KC, not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all coming back.
So
it's
not JoJo Siwa at all.
No, a little bit more diverse, which is saying something because she's.
What's the one song I would know of theirs?
I do not know. Kiki and JoJo.
Well, I hate their whole aesthetic, though.
Also, not a woman.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of the other one. Okay, fine. Clearly, I did my timeline wrong.
I also picked the wrong. It's not Casey and JoJo. It's just JoJo.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
It's not of Casey and JoJo fame. JoJo singer. That's the right one.
This is Joanna Noel Levesque.
Yes.
December 20th, 1990.
Yes.
So it's what?
Best known for
okay.
Her single Baby It's You and or Leave parenthesis Get Out.
I have no idea who this is, clearly. Neither do you, as it turns out.
No, I recognize her. I just didn't realize. I always just said Casey and JoJo. Her first top 5 Billboard Hot 100 hit is Too Little Too Late. That song I remember. So that's the one that you would know.
Okay.
Anyway, that was a bit of a diversion. Tom Cruise on the 24th marries Nicole Kidman.
But not Nicola Doltman.
On the 27th, Edmonton Oilers beat the Calgary Flames for their 500th franchise win, setting a record for the shortest games to this milestone, which is 915, and the best record to that point, which is a .612 winning percentage at 295 to 120, and that's wins, ties, losses. I don't remember how hockey.
And you know who played for Edmonton from 1979 until 1988?
The great one, Wayne Gretzky. So they were founded in the 79 to 80 season. Meanwhile, the Seattle Kraken might reach this goal by the end of the next decade.
Hey, again, I'll have you know they're actually 10-1-1 in their last 12 games, which is pretty shocking.
True, but what is that the season record, or is that your magical baseball number?
No, Seattle Kraken.
Also on the 28th, David Archuleta is born.
They are currently second in their division at 15-5-3.
That's better than last year.
Trailing only the Golden Knights.
Golden Knights are pretty good. The 28th, or do you remember David Archuleta?
No.
You're the one that watched American Idol of the two of us.
Yeah, but he didn't win anything.
No, but he was in a season that you watched.
Oh, he's a Mormon.
Shocking. He was.
They're not taking too kindly to the gay thing.
I think he he was on an episode of iCarly.
Okay.
Yeah. TV appearing ending December 1990. On the 1st, we have Alvin and the Chipmunks, as well as The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3 ending Both of those ending. Both of those cartoons. Both of those Andrew's probably seen Alvin and the Chipmunks. In the box office in December 1990. On the 14th, we have Edward Scissorhands, as well as Look Who's Talking 2. On the 19th, we have Hamlet, starring Mel Gibson, Glenn Close, and Helena Bonham Carter.
Ooh, gosh, sign me up.
Can you guess who Helena Bonham Carter is playing? Is it the...
I don't know Shakespeare.
Let
me guess. She's somehow wearing black and is like a dark character.
Yes. I believe it's Ophelia. She's the one that ends up killing herself because Hamlet's like, go kill yourself.
And then people name their kids that.
Helena Bonham Carter. Yeah, I've heard that one.
Ophelia. It's like, is that like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Partially because the name sucks, but gosh, I'm gonna get hate mail.
988.
Yeah, I swear to God, we talk about 988 like a bunch of times during every episode now.
One of the Christmas episodes deals with suicide again this year.
More than one.
And it doesn't more than one.
Yeah, the one with the
the dad, yeah.
The dad his head in the oven or whatever.
Yeah, but that was made as a bad 90s joke. On the 21st, Kindergarten Cop and Kiki's Delivery Service. That's Kiki's Delivery Service is made by Studio Ghibli, which is the Totoro people. Yeah. And finally on the 25th, The Godfather Part 3.
All right.
And in the Billboard charts, number one in the Billboard charts for December 1990 for the first week, it is I'm Your Baby Tonight by Whitney Houston, followed by Because I Love You, open parentheses, The Postman Song, close parentheses, by Stevie B for the rest of the month. I've never heard that song in my life. Continuing on for the first full week of December 1990, at number 3, we have From a Distance by Bette Midler. Number 4, Something to Believe In by Poison. Number 5, Love Takes Time by Mariah Carey. Number 8, The Way You Do the Thing You Do by UB40. Number 10, Justify My Love by Madonna. Number 11, High Enough by Damn Yankees. Number 12, Freedom by George Michael. Number 13, Stranded by Heart. Number 14, Feels Good by Tony. And number 20, Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice.
Now let's go to Brandon for the Namely 90s Minute.
Welcome back to our mid-episode break, Namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of Brendan Fraser returning to the silver screen in Whale, we're looking back at his most popular film, The Mummy. The Mummy is a 1999 action-adventure film starring Encino Man, Natasha's spy mom in Black Widow, the married gay man who doesn't die in 4 weddings and a funeral as her brother, and Zartan from G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra as the eponymous character for this film. Technically, this is a remake of the 1932 film of the same name, but just like the Tom Cruise version of this movie, the plots are completely different. The story starts in 1290 BC when High Priest Imhotep has an affair with the Pharaoh's mistress. The Pharaoh discovers the affair and is killed by them. Imhotep's lover kills herself as he flees, believing she can be revived by him, and later when he tries to resurrect her, he's stopped by the Pharaoh's personal guard, the Magi. They bury him alive with flesh-eating scarab beetles and lock him away in a sarcophagus, and the Magi swear to never let him return. Flash forward to 1923 AD, where the brother and sister duo have a map to Hamunaptra, where Imhotep is buried, which was stolen from American adventurer George of the Jungle. He makes a deal with them to bring them with him to Hamunaptra, where they discover the Book of the Dead, even though they were warned by the leader of the Magi to stay away. The twins from Constantine reads the Book of the Dead that night and accidentally revives Imhotep, who brings the 10 plagues back to Egypt while chasing down the adventurers. Rachel from About a Boy determines that if the Book of the Dead revived Imhotep, the Book of Amun-Ra can kill him again. So they travel back to Hamunaptra to find it. Meanwhile, Imhotep captures her and wants to use her as the vessel for his dead lover to be reincarnated in. Imhotep gets attacked by some other mummies so she can escape and read from the Book of Amun-Ra, making Imhotep mortal again, and then he gets stabbed by Dudley Do-Right, proving that reading is more effective in fighting mummies than guns or something. Then the heroes ride off into the sunset on camels in what was probably an homage to The Last Crusade. And that's The Mummy in a Namely 90s Minute. More or less.
And now back to the show.
Anywhere you want to go?
Oh boy. I recognize some of the things from this episode.
Do you? What do you recognize?
That's kind of it.
Tony.
No, not at all.
Feels good.
No, I don't know. Like, I never saw any. I guess Kindergarten Cop, I think I saw part of that.
Yeah, Kindergarten Cop was a 1990 American action comedy film directed by Ivan Reitman, Ghostbusters.
Right. Yep.
And starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as John Kimball, a tough police detective working undercover as a kindergarten teacher to apprehend drug dealer Cullen Crisp. Before he can get to his former wife and son. Oh, the drug dealer is trying to kill his former wife and son. That's right. I haven't seen this in forever. While undercover, Kimball discovers a passion for teaching he never knew he had and considers changing his profession to become an educator.
Public servant through and through.
Pamela Reed plays his partner, Phoebe O'Hara, and Penelope Ann Miller plays Joyce, the teacher who becomes his love interest. The film was released in 1990 and grossed $202 million worldwide with a direct-to-video sequel, Kindergarten Cop 2, released in 2016.
Let me guess, if you don't like child actors, you're not going to like this movie.
True, but it's like that 90s Arnold thing where they can get pretty much anyone to...
I always thought this movie had like a kid who has to be a cop or something like that.
No.
So I feel like what's that thing where you misattribute something? No, that's like when you get the name of a movie wrong. But no, I just always thought it was like a kid movie. Like the kid was trying to be a cop or something like that.
Kind of a kid movie, but it is a...
Is it for children?
No, but like you can watch it on... I think it's a comedy. It's one of those comedy action films that they kind of did with... And
all the films around that time are just all the same.
Like a family action film, like Jingle All the Way or True Lies?
Yeah, True Lies was not really for the kids.
No, but I mean, Elijah Dushku was in it as a teenager. Or the other one with
True Lies was rated R.
Was it?
Yeah.
I watched that.
Kindergarten Cop was rated PG-13.
What about the other Arnold one where it has the other Arnold Tom Arnold.
The one where twins?
No,
no.
The one with Tom Arnold in it. Is that also True Lies? I feel like it's a different one. Arnold and Arnold.
Yeah,
we talked about it in an episode. They worked together on... Oh, it was True Lies. Damn it. Anyway, do you want to guess which 80s action hero stars in Kindergarten Cop 2, released in 2016?
It's an 80s star.
He was in some action movies in the 80s.
I don't think I have a guess.
And he's kind of having a comeback. He was in one of the Rocky movies, specifically Rocky 4. That's not going to help you because you don't know the Rocky movies. Dolph Lundgren.
Really?
Yeah, the guy that has an engineering degree. He either has a master's or a PhD in engineering, and he's starring in Kindergarten Cop 2, featuring himself and
featuring himself.
Yes, and William Bellamy.
3 stars. Another unnecessary Hollywood sequel done way too late. Otherwise decent.
Oh, are you? Is that from Letterboxd?
It is.
Was that the Hocus Pocus 2?
It was, but it's very relevant to this movie as well, but probably not decent. This one's in Spanish. But all caps. Sorry.
Speaking of terrible sequels, let's talk about The Godfather Part 3.
Okay.
And let's start before we even get into it. Let's give a primer. Godfather Part 3 is a 1990 American crime film produced and directed by Francis Ford Coppola, with a screenplay co-written with Coppola and Mario Puzo. Mario Puzo is the author of the original Godfather book. It stars Al Pacino, Diane Keaton, Talia Shire, Andy Garcia, Eli Wallach, Joe Montan, Bridget Fonda, George Hamilton, and Sofia Coppola. It is the third and final installment in the Godfather Trilogy, a sequel to The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, both released in the early 70s.
Oh, it's so much later.
And it concludes the fictional story of Michael Corleone, the patriarch of the Corleone family, who attempts to legitimize his criminal empire. It also includes fictionalized accounts of the two real-life events, the 1978 death of Pope John Paul I and the papal banking scandal of 1981 through 82, both linked to Michael Corleone's business affairs. Coppola and Puzo originally intended for the film to be called The Death of Michael Corleone, because Coppola considers The Godfather to be a duology, which makes sense because the original Godfather book was part 1 and 2 of The Godfather. It's not the same extent. Part 3 serves as an epilogue, which is why it sucks.
It seems like hair splitting for a consumer base that doesn't know what that word means.
A duology or
epilogue.
Epilogue.
Like, it's the third movie.
Yeah. The Godfather, there's a recut version that came out 2 years ago called The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone, which released with the 3rd anniversary of the original movie. Before we get into why I think this is a shit movie, I would like to accost you into admitting that, or telling us why you will never watch the Godfather series.
It's from the 1970s. I don't want to watch cinema from. This is gonna make me sound like a complete jackass. I don't want to watch any cinema before 1993.
Okay,
I find
that's your line.
I find the quality distracting.
But
I'm being honest, like watching a lo-fi, like bad, it's very distracting to me. I have a hard time following the movie.
But The Godfather is not lo-fi. It is good cinema. It's not like there's sets falling apart. It's set
but I feel like it does that thing where like the voices are like disembodied from the actors and.
No, you're thinking spaghetti westerns and like the 1960s.
No, I'm thinking literally like the first season of the X-Files was shit garbage. Like that's a TV series.
I
know, but there is a transition.
Yes.
Somewhere in the early 90s from like really bad audio and like they just like you can tell that the person that's talking like isn't. I don't know. Old movies are hard for me to watch because I can't deal with like some of the quality issues.
I acknowledge that, but there are. I'm
not saying the movie's poor quality. I'm saying like
audio.
The experience of watching it is low quality.
And I'm saying I'm acknowledging that there are a majority of films from the 70s and 80s that happens for. But what about like? You've watched Star Wars. You've watched Indiana Jones.
Yeah, true.
Those were made.
I will say there are genres that I'm not that interested by. Like we talked about this in one of the episodes for the holiday special. Fantasy, not going to do it for me. Not going to be watching Lord of the Rings. Not going to be watching Game of Thrones.
But you like
mafia stuff doesn't interest me.
Okay,
it's just not one of those things because it's all kind of like trite and kind of just very stereotypical and like you already kind of know what you're going to get.
Okay. But okay. I understand that.
Like I'm just not, it's not compelling to me, even if it's a great movie or series, it's just not compelling. So I'm not that interested in the subject matter, I guess.
I see what you're saying, and like on the surface, it does look like it is a gangster movie, but it's more about the drama in the family, which I guess is also not a genre that you'd care about.
No, I go to the Real Housewives for that.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, that's fair, and I know your preferences. I'm not gonna.
Well, because most of the time I was like, because I don't wanna.
Yeah, that's literally your usual response. I think everyone should see the original Godfather and Godfather Part 2 if the first one was compelling enough, because I know you'll get bored in the second one.
Yeah, the first one's only like 4 hours long, right?
Yeah, and the second one is only double that length because there's literally 2 movies in one. But yeah, it is a tight, perfect movie for such a long run time. But The Godfather Part 3 fails.
Right.
Because
who's shocked by this?
Right. But it's because it's not, as they say, Coppola says that the part 1 and 2 is a duology. It's not a trilogy. It doesn't continue the themes of the original movies.
I feel like they waited too long.
Well, in the in-universe explanation is that it's towards the end of his life.
But when has that ever worked?
Right.
I mean, this is before like sequel culture, but
yeah, you're right. Because I was about to say, well, they just did the Star Wars sequels, and
it was the first proof of concept that sequels like number 3 doesn't work.
Yeah, or a like long spaced out revival doesn't work,
and Kindergarten Cop 2 was another good illustration of that.
Yes. For all the Star Wars prequels and sequels, we have Kindergarten Cop 2. But I don't know. Godfather Part 3 just rubs me the wrong way. Michael has spent his years being an evil. He's fallen into the evil side of himself, and he got dragged down by the crime family, and now he wants to get out. How
do you legitimize like an entire lifetime of criminal activity that you can't do that?
you get rid of the crime and sweep it under the rug.
So you actually just take care of people's dry cleaning instead of using it as a front.
Yeah, they're
for money laundering.
They're actual just garbage.
They actually collect
waste,
garbage.
Yeah. What is it? Sanitation workers.
Yeah, they just harass people with garbage to pay their monthly bill instead of asking for protection money or whatever.
Exactly. I think I honestly don't remember the intricate plot details because it's so boring. Like my reaction to this film, my reaction to this film is your reaction to the original Godfather, more or less, just because it's just like it's they leave the heart, they take the heart out of it, or they try to pass the heart on to Michael's daughter.
That always works so well.
Yeah, Ray Skywalker, which I'm not entirely mad about. But it's just, what's his face is in this? Andy Garcia. Andy Garcia is like the bastard son of Michael's brother, and he thinks he's entitled to the crime family or whatever, and it's just it's bogged down, which my explanation
you mean Terry Benedict, which is the only thing I can see Andy Garcia as
from NCIS. Is that NCIS?
No, from the Oceans series.
Oh, Terry Benedict.
Yes.
Isn't he in like an NCIS too, or a CSI? I might be thinking Anthony Paglia.
Yeah, you're thinking of Anthony Paglia.
Yes.
He was in Without a Trace.
See, they're
Anthony
all the same.
Paglia guy. What's his name?
Andy Garcia. He was in the recent reboot of
Anthony LaPaglia was in Without a Trace.
Oh, what was Andy Garcia in? Andy Garcia was recently in the Father of the Bride reboot that didn't do well.
Yes, he was. It did. Oh boy.
Yeah. So I don't know. Sophia Coppola had to take over the role from Winona Ryder. I think Winona Ryder might have made this movie better.
Thing. IMDb looks different today.
Everything's changing. Bleep bloop. But yeah, so Sophia Coppola just did this on a whim. She wasn't a trained actress, and
it showed.
It showed. No, and she's a great director. She said in interviews that she never actually wanted to be an actress, but she was just doing it as a favor to her father. And she kind of brings the heart to the story, but it's just so bad. And then she dies, and yeah. Yeah, the only redeeming thing from this movie is just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in, and people quote that all the time. So I'm gonna give you a choice for the last subject. Do you want to talk about Tim Burton's Edward Scissorhands, starring Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder and Anthony Michael Hall, or do you want to talk about Kiki's Delivery Service, which is a Miyazaki film from Studio Ghibli?
Yeah. Let's do that one. I don't know. Edward Scissorhands.
It's the longer quiz.
That's fine. It's exhausting.
Okay. Well, Kiki's Delivery Service, or Majo no Takubin, which is literally translated as Witch's Express Home Delivery, is a 1989 Japanese animated fantasy film written, produced, and directed by Hayao Miyazaki, and it's from Studio Ghibli, and it was released in America for the first time in 1990. I remember when it was after this, but when like Totoro was big and Kiki's Delivery Service was big, and we were like, I don't know, 7, because the English dub came out. Yeah. And we went to the old Seattle Wajimai's, which had a Kinokuniya bookstore in it. Still does, just different location now. And they had like everything by the counter was just either Totoro or Kiki's Delivery Service. And I don't think I've ever actually seen the movie.
No, I was vaguely aware of it.
Like
but I have not seen it.
Like it's the girl with the broomstick, and she has like a purple dress and a red ribbon. In her
it
hair.
has actual people in it.
Oh, the dub, yeah. So the dub was released under a 15-year distribution partnership with Disney, between Disney and Studio Ghibli, and that dropped in 1997. The dub first premiered in theaters at the Seattle International Film Festival.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah.
Is that still a thing, or is that move around?
No, it's still there. Everyone has their own. San Luis Obispo. I'm an occasional screener for the San Luis Obispo International Film Festival. But what was I saying? The point of Kiki's Delivery Service is, what was the point? It's about,
Is this where FedEx started?
Yes. So she's a 13-year-old trainee witch, Kiki, and she lives home taking her black cat, Gigi, and she flies in a broomstick. That's cool. We don't know anything about it. We haven't seen it.
No. I mean, it probably is worth watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Ghibli movies are great. I just haven't seen this one. But we're going to take a quick quiz, BuzzFeed quiz, because that's what we do. And
spend a day in this cottage to reveal your Ghibli. I don't think you're allowed to reveal your Ghibli. I think that's a prosecutable offense.
The full title, you can find the link in our description below. Spend a day in a magical cottage to find out which Studio Ghibli character is your soulmate. And the subtitle.
I still think revealing your Ghibli is.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to start the day with a household chore. Dusting, taking out the garbage, cleaning the bathroom, making breakfast, or doing the laundry. How's making breakfast a chore? I feel like 4 of these are chores and the other one is just something you have to do.
Well, I hate making breakfast.
Really?
I like eating breakfast. I hate making it.
I like making breakfast. I'm going to go with that.
I'm going to take out the garbage.
Okay. That one feels the least like a chore to me. On to the next chore, cleaning the bedroom, arranging books and items, gathering wood, or Ghibli's, as Andrew said, harvesting herbs and flowers, and sweeping the porch.
I'd sweep.
I mean, sweeping's fine. It's fastest. Definitely don't. Yeah. I would most likely arrange books and items because that sounds like a task that isn't actually, again, a chore. It's just something you do when you're not doing your chores. It's my turn.
No, you did both. Okay. It's lunchtime. Have a nice home-cooked meal by making the recipe of Satsuki's bento box, Kiki's herring pie, Shida's stew, Porco Rosso spaghetti, and Ponyo's ramen.
The ramen looks good. Last year I kind of got into bento.
I can get down on a bento box.
Yeah, you would eat the umeboshi plum and the smelt roe over there.
No, theirs looks gross. I'll go with ramen.
I guess I'll go with the bento box then. Zone out a bit on a chair. We have a hanging chair, a wooden chair, a poorly padded wooden chair, might I say, that's inside for some reason. Looks like a comfortable lounge chair that's kind of stiff in the back. What appears to be a couch. Is that a couch?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's a couch.
Which is not a chair, and a brick wall, which is also not a chair. With half of an unseen upholstered chair.
I'm all about a couch.
Yeah, I am too. Have you ever tried sitting on those hanging like beds or seats?
No,
it's impossible.
It's horrible.
I hate it. You have a visitor. Wait, is it your turn?
You have a visitor. Who is it? Gigi, which is like a small black cat.
Kiki's
Totoro,
cat.
which, well, if you don't know what that is. No Face, which is out of a nightmare. Turnip Head, which is also out of a nightmare. And Sosuke, which appears to be a small Japanese boy.
Who's shoving Ponyo into a bottle. You want to go?
I love a cat, but I'm also a Totoro person.
Fair enough. So you're going with Totoro?
No, I'll go with a cat because that's more true to who I am.
Then I will take the magical forest creature deity Totoro.
Your turn.
Not spend time with a small child that's shoving a fish into a bottle. What activity will you two do together? I assume this is the guest that we have. Yeah. Would you hiking to a nearby stream, just chill out and read some books, listen to music, foraging for berries nearby, or cook a meal together?
A cat can't do like most of these things.
It's a magical cat. Cook a meal together with a cat. Implications there.
I think chilling out.
Chilling. I would go with. Yeah, chilling with Totoro would be cool, but I think listening to music with Totoro would be cool too, because he likes to play his little flute thing, right? I never seen that one either. Finally, what does your cottage look like? Does it look like a old, I would say, English townhouse?
Is that a thatched roof?
I'm pretty sure that's an English cottage. What appears to be in a building on the River Thames. No, Venice. Venice Canal.
Venice.
A Japanese. None of these are cottages.
Is that Ralph Macchio's house?
Yeah, it's the back of Ralph Macchio's house in Cobra Kai.
Oh, it's not his house. It's the dojo.
The dojo, yes. The backyard of Mr. Miyagi's dojo. I'm pretty sure that's the house from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And another English house, but this one's a part of, you know how in
has
the villages,
no windows and it's covered with moss.
Yeah. You know how in the village they're all like kind of connected together.
I think I'd go with more of like the Venetian looking one.
Okay. I guess I would. What does my cottage look like?
That's what she said.
Like, I want to go with the Japanese one, but I know there's a lot of sliding doors and a lot of like tatami mats and futons instead of actual beds. So I'm going to go with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
Ooh, quaint.
Oh, cool. Do you want me to go?
I got, whoever this is, Seiji Amasawa.
No idea.
Sweet, confident, and talented, Seiji Amasawa from Whisper of the Heart is your soulmate. You share the same great qualities as him.
These are all just okay. Apparently this was designed for women, and I got Ashitaka, which is kind and determined and a strong warrior. Prince Ashitaka from Princess Mononoke sees the hero in you, which is a movie I've actually seen. So I am Ashitaka. Andrew is Seiji Amasawa. If you were wondering what Studio Ghibli characters were our soulmates.
We have now revealed to you our Ghiblis.
Apparently they're going to get our Ghiblis later.
Is that the thing you make with the turkey? Giblets. Okay.
And that's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Check the episode description for this week's supplemental Spotify playlist curated by yours truly. Find us on Twitter and Instagram, if Twitter still exists, at Namely 90s with a 90s, or find our personal accounts on Twitter, if it still exists, at bshwitty and at Namely Andrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/namely90s, also with 90s. Finally, you can also contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Princess Mononoke, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcast from. I'm Brandon. That's Andrew, and we will catch you next time.
Rock out with your Ghibli out.